What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. My status as an assassin obviously exceeds the hero, episode 5. So in this one, Akira, Knight, and Amelia, they they leave the elves kingdom, and they start heading towards the beast folk continent. And while they're heading there, some elves are helping guide them, and so Knight tells Akira that he had to behave himself a little because you know monsters like him, they're kind of looked down upon. And he says that the Demon Lord knows that Kira uses shadow magic and probably would like to meet him. And so while their carriage is heading towards, I guess, the coast, to board a ship, these bandits employed by Lord Graham, who's a high-ranking, basically who's like the lord of this area in the Beast Folk Kingdom. Basically, these bandits try to capture them, and they see Amelia's hair, realize she's an elven princess that would sell for a high price. But Akira quickly defeats them, and the bands are captured. And so the elven guards find that Graham is a beastful royal who's rumored to be behind various kidnappings. And so Akira's group, they board a ship that leads to the city Ur. And so in Ur, Akira sees that humans are treated as second-class citizens by the beast folk, and that apparently the whole city has like a cultural phobia of black cats, which is explained a little later. So in the end, Amelia wants to seduce Akira. Like, so they get to the room. There are two beds. Amelia says that the beds are probably too big, so they probably really only need one. Akira's like, yeah, no. If we have a second bed, why not use them? Like, I don't know if he's aware of what Amelia's trying to do. So Amelia goes take a shower. She gets in like her like little pajamas. Um, basically, her pajamas. You, basically she wants to seduce Akira by the what she wears for pajamas. I'll just say that. And she sees Akira seemingly sleeping, and she decides to sleep next to him. Akira, I guess, doesn't notice. He's like, "How can I sleep in all?" I don't know if Akira noticed Amelia sleeping. Akira didn't notice Amelia slept next to him. So the next morning, so Knight had gone out to meet with someone. So Knight comes back the next morning and says, "See y'all, enjoy yourself." Akira's like, "Huh?" And he sees Amelia next to him. He's like, "What the frick?" So it's real that Knight met with Crow, who's a blacksmith and was a former member of the Hero Party. And so Crow offers to repair, Akira's sword if Akira finds the materials. And he says that Akira obviously lacks experience with swords. So Akira decides to raid the local dungeon to get materials. Amelia asks Crow to teach her to fight, so she wants to be more useful to Akira due to how powerful Akira is. She wants to be able to get around to his level, which obviously would take a lot. And Crow explains that the reason the Beast Folk are afraid of black cats is that 100 years ago, um, during I guess the whole war, the Knight basically gave into his demonic instincts and destroyed the city of Adlia. And basically, Crow he didn't blame Knight for what happened because he was just servant of the Demon Lord. And with regards to like his Crow's sister had died, so Crow was involved with some of the rebuilding and trying basically Crow's trying to help some people. And Graham was trying to get out of there, and basically killed a bunch of the locals, including Crow's sister, in order to escape Adlia. And then what happens is the evil mage who had tricked Kilika years ago attacks the city of Ur and introduces himself to Amelia as Aurum Trace, who's the son of the Demon Lord. Who basically Demon Lord wants Aurum to kill everyone in the city except for Amelia. And then Akira uses shadow magic to kill all of Aurum's monsters, but the strain from doing all that magic causes him to pass out. So I like this episode. I thought it was just freaking funny. Like Amelia trying to the whole Amelia's interaction with Akira, I thought was freaking funny. Like, I mean, most people would know this is an isekai. Is obvious that whoever was the main female character that Akira met was probably gonna try to screw him. I mean, that's just how it works in isekai, and it just happened to be an elven princess in this series. But yeah, I thought this was a good episode. Liked how they're setting up the Demon Lord. So yeah, I like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Wick Is Pain. So this is a documentary about the development of the John Wick movies. So so basically in this basically the documentary was filmed over the course of time that John Wick was developed, and they had enough footage to make a documentary. So you had so you have areas you have Keanu Reeves, Chad Stahelski, David Leitch, Basil Iwanek, Tiger Chin, Derek Kolstad. So it shows like this goes into like all of them like figuring like figuring out developing the first movie. There's some struggles in distribution, trying to get someone. Lionsgate basically said screw it, and then it became a big hit. And then they knew they needed to while the iron was hot, they needed to make the second one. And the second one did very well. Then they made a third and fourth one. Of course, now you also had Ballerina, which I thought was decent. And so yeah, all the John Wick movies, the first four, are really good. As far as documentary goes, I think this was a really good documentary. Like I liked how they went with the whole development of it. Like I really enjoyed it. It was cool to see how they went about making the movies. How basically it was like all the influences they had. Obviously the Matrix was a major influence with a lot of the people from the Matrix being involved. You have anime and manga, old school action movies. So yeah, I really like this documentary, and you know I recommend watching it. The Witcher season 4. So yeah, so this is the first season without Henry Cavill. Liam Hemsworth takes over the role of Geralt of Rivia. So some things that happens um so Siri is captured by the rats, and when one member of the rats tries to do stuff to her, uh character name basically basically character name like Mitzel, whatever, like basically she stops the guy from doing stuff to Siri, but then
that leads to them like getting it on, and they just basically it's a recurring plot point of Siri and Missile having sex, and so she hangs out the Siri joins the rats using the alias Falca, and basically they're doing thieves, killing people and stuff, and basically a bounty hunter named Leo Bonhart hunts for them. Bonhart kills everyone except for Siri, so Siri's captured by Bonhart, and then while a bunch of this is going on, um, so you have Geralt basically forms a group, you know, recruiting Jaskier, an archer named Milva, dwarf named Zoltan, or Zoltan, whatever, and a higher vampire named Reaches. And they're basically trying to find Ciri. And so they, after the Battle of the Bridge, Queen Meve officially knights Geralt as Geralt of Rivia, which basically he was not from Rivia. He's not really where he's actually from is not known. And so with Geralt knighted, he's honor bound to serve Meve, and that causes problems in his search for Ciri. And then Yennefer, um, basically is trying. Basically, there's a struggle between a lot of the witches and Vilgefortz, over control of magic. So Yennefer, restores but some portals during the Battle of Monte Calvo, and she forms the Lodge of Sorceresses. Basically, it's like a new magic group, and Yennefer wants to protect Ciri, and she wants to pursue Vilgefortz, and she gets sucked into a whirlpool at the end of the season. Now, okay, one of the things that happens, um, obviously they do not follow the books very well, so Vesemir gets killed by Vilgefortz. In the books, Vesemir survives through the end of the books, and he, of course, dies in Witcher 3 in the games. So Vilgefortz kills Vesemir. Eastred dies, to destroy Vilgefortz's whole room. Of course, all the rats are dead. And there's a whole deal with Ciri's father, Emperor Imphere, who went by his Dooney there in season 1. He has a plan to marry Ciri in order to produce a male heir that would basically do a bunch of magic stuff, fulfill a prophecy. Basically, a bunch of people are trying to have a child with Ciri. Imphere is just one of those. Imphere, and obviously, there's the issue of Imphere being Ciri's father, like biological father. So obviously, there's an issue there. And he has like a fake Ciri for a while, but he's trying to find the real one. In the finale, he releases a monster to go after Geralt. And yeah, so and while this is going on, there's another storyline that's 100 years in the future. Yeah, this guy named Strybog telling a girl named Nimue about the events. Basically, like he's like storytelling Nimue, like keeps correcting him of how it went and way things it hints that Nimue is gonna get involved with Ciri's story, which that which in the books, you know, she is involved. She's in the books. Nimue's in Baptism of Fire, Lady of the Lake, and Season of Storms. And so yeah, so basically, yeah, so yeah, so that's the whole deal where basically like I think it's like I don't know something to do with like so obviously it's supposed to set up season 5, so I think there's some weird time travel stuff about to go on, and yeah, and that's gonna be interesting because that is involved with a series of abilities, time travel, portals, multiverse. So yeah, that's gonna play a play a role. So yeah, I did not like this season. Strayed way too far from the source material, and it came across at times like a James Gunn fantasy story, like trying to add a bunch of stupid humor. Like didn't feel like a dark fantasy. Almost times like a parody of it, and not a good parody. And there was a bunch of some of the acting is fine. Like Liam Hemsworth wasn't terrible, but he's not Henry Cavill. And obviously had some race swaps and stuff, and like a lot of emphasis, way too much emphasis on the romantic relationships of some characters. You know, I did not like this season, and Geralt was like sidelined. It's called The Witcher. The Witcher needs to be the main character. The fact. Um, yeah, so yeah, I didn't like this season. I know there's supposed to be one more season. That's probably going to adapt Baptism of Fire and Lady of the Lake, and probably end it then. But yeah, this was so stupid. I mean, some of the humor was like, is this a freaking James Gunn story? You trying to make it like Marvel, or whatever? Come on, that's freaking retarded. But yeah, I didn't like this season. I mean, this show's just been boring. Like it's just not been a good show. Nero the Assassin. So this is a French show that premiered on Netflix a few weeks ago. I didn't know it existed until recently. So yeah, basically, so Nero works for this local ruler, named Roquemort, and basically Roquemort sells him out to a witch who basically learns that basically she's trying to sacrifice someone who doesn't have a kid, and it's revealed he does have a kid, so they try to find you know Nero's daughter, named Perla. So Nero, with the help of this priest, evacuates his daughter, goes on the run, abducts Roquemont's daughter, you know, Hortense as a hostage, and yeah, some other people get involved. There's one of the guards. So like you have all these betrayals going on with Nero gradually starting to care more about his daughter. Then you have the whole deal of Hortense's marriage to a Princess Sigur, and so yeah, you have the whole deal with the Archbishop of Sigur. So it's believed that Brilla is the descendant of the devil. It's the last sin of the devil. Then what then happens eventually? The witch reveals that the devil is not real. The church lied, but the devil exists. That Pirla's blood is a descendant of a witch. Basically, Pirla is her descendant. And basically, her blood can like heal. Magic can heal the earth. Whatever. So like Pirla's blood can heal the earth, and that if she's sacrificed, the world can be healed. Nero doesn't want his sacrifice his daughter. He tries to save her while helping Hortense overthrow the archbishop who overthrew the prince. Basically declared like the royal family to be servants of the devil, and so Roquemore, you know, basically like so eventually everyone so Roquemore, Nero, Hortense, everyone forms an alliance against him. When it happens, so basically seizing the whole rebellion suicide mission. Nero leaks the plan or to convince Hortense's group to evacuate, and so everyone evacuates to Lamartine to build up a larger army. Now, to end the drought, Pirla stabs herself and dies, causing her blood to spill in the earth. Starts raining, the drought ends. And basically, the Archbishop, seeing it, tells Brother Penance, who was like some like evil dude, that the rain was caused by Pirla killing herself, not anyone's repentance. So Penance, pissed off at the Archbishop for lying to him about everything, pushes the Archbishop off the parapets to his death. Now, Nero mourns over Pirla, but some figure knocks him unconscious and abducts Pirla. While her corpse is being taken away, she regains consciousness, revealing that she's the last witch alive. So now, the fate of Nero and Pirla is left uncertain, and we know what's to deal with the rebellion. So we don't know if there's going to be another season. But overall, I thought this was a decent show. Like, how you gradually built up all these like different characters Nero come across. He's an assassin. He's a duplicitous prick at times, just due to the nature of his job. And like you have all these portrayals and stuff. Like how they gradually built up all these characters. Developed them. Nero becoming more of a moral person. And you have Hortense gradually becoming more like her father. I thought this was Perla was annoying at times. Like she was annoying at times, but like whatever. Overall, I thought this was a decent show. Hopefully they make a season two.
And that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.